From the capital city of Charleston, West Virginia, this is Inside West Virginia Politics with Rick Johnson. Inside West Virginia Politics is brought to you by AARP West Virginia, your ally for real possibilities in the Mountain State. Now, Inside West Virginia Politics.
Hello and welcome to Inside West Virginia Politics. I'm Rick Johnson. Our first guest is the mayor of Hurricane, West Virginia, and he's held that honor for nearly 20 years. It puts him up there, I'm sure, with a handful of mayors who have been in office that long, and we'd like to welcome to Inside West Virginia Politics the mayor of Hurricane, West Virginia, one Scott Edwards. Welcome, sir.
Hey, thank you for having me today. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. First off, just tell us a little bit about Scott Edwards.
So, yeah, I'm Scott Edwards. I became mayor in 2007.
Wow.
That's been nearly 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Local business owner, entrepreneur in Hurricane. And, I've got a couple businesses, and it felt right to become the mayor. I didn't really want to run for mayor. A few people asked me to in town, and when the old mayor was transitioning out, and they said, you should do this. I said, don't want to be in politics. So I did it, and here I am today. But it's worked out very well because I had the businesses right in town, so I could be like a full-time mayor.
And you've been there, I think it's 18 years.
18 years,
technically,
yes,
18 years. And give us a little idea of what the typical day is like for you as the mayor of a community and a town like Hurricane.
Okay, so I still run a business or two, but as mayor, I usually stop in City Hall every morning. I talk to the city manager, the staff, and just see what's going on. I empower people. I don't try to know everything, but I've said this many times. I got voted mayor. I didn't get voted smart. So I don't know everything about a sewer plant, a water plant. I don't know how to run an event. I don't know those things. You empower good people. And we have a staff of nearly 100 people in Hurricane, and they are phenomenal. Our construction services team, our utility team, they do their thing, and they're empowered to do their thing. So I talk to those guys and gals all the time, but we all work together as a team.
And for those who are watching from other parts of the state, just quickly tell us, where's Hurricane located?
So Hurricane's right in between Charleston and Huntington. So we're 25 minutes east, 25 minutes west is Hurricane, and we attract a lot of people. A lot of people want to live in Hurricane. So we have a ton of people that live in Hurricane that work in Charleston and Huntington. They have their jobs there every day, but they want to come back home to Hurricane and Putnam County. Our schools are so good. Our events, our things to do in town all the time. We have free events all the time, and people love bringing their kids there. They really enjoy those type of things.
Hurricane definitely is growing, there's no doubt about it, and growing in terms of people and in structures going up.
Correct.
Give us just a couple of those big projects right now. They're just getting underway.
So there's a lot of chatter about what's happening. We have the new Culloden interchange, and that has caused a lot of development to just about be ready to start announcing. So I can't say exactly what it is, but there's a lot of acreage right off that exit that there's a lot of chatter about what's going to be there. We haven't seen the plans yet, so can't announce anything.
Right.
Also, right across from Walgreens in Hurricane, right along Tays Valley Road, huge parcel, and I see that being developed very soon. That's a huge parcel. That's getting ready to happen. But the houses, you've probably heard about this. There's 400 plus new homes coming to Hurricane, and it's right off Main Street. It's on a 70-acre farm. It was called the Woodworth Farm for many, many decades, and now it's called Woodworth Farms. And they've chosen to locate in Hurricane. We need thousands and thousands of new homes in Putnam County. We know that. But 400 and some, probably closer to 450 will be located right in Hurricane. And there's a lot more. There is so much more that's just on the cusp right now. I've never seen anything like this with the chatter and builders and developers are looking. And I'm talking about restaurants, hotels, shopping type stuff, retail, other entertainment, those types of things. It's going to be good in a few years.
One of the projects I'm interested in is what's happening next to the old fire station in Hurricane, and there's some plans. There's a gazebo, and there's going to be entertainment. Tell us about that.
Absolutely. So our old firehouse, which was built in 1974, we have a new firehouse now. It was built a few years ago. So the old firehouse on Main Street is right in the shopping district. There's some restaurants there and stuff. So we're converting that. It's in the process now. There'll be a large stage. It'll be covered. There'll be heaters and that type of thing, but it'll be an indoor-outdoor venue. And what we foresee, like a Saturday night, maybe the local bluegrass band is there.
Sure.
And you and your folks come down, bring some bag chairs. Maybe there's a food truck. There's a gazebo there. You can enjoy it outside. If the weather gets bad, or if you want to sit down, go inside. But it's all open air space. It's going to be phenomenal. And we've already, the word's out a little bit. We've already had bands and different groups already contact us. They're like, we want part of this. It's going to be great.
That's fantastic. I wish we had more time because we could fill hours right now with you.
Yes, we could.
And what we're talking about. Is there a website you want to direct people to get more information?
HurricaneWV.com. Please go there. And our Harvest Festival is this weekend at the City Park in Hurricane. So we want people to come out to our Harvest Festival. It's a free event. And then there's lots more. There are so many more things coming. I would love to talk to you about it.
Mayor, thank you for being here today.
Hey, sir,
we appreciate
thank you.
it so
I appreciate
much.
it.
That's Mayor Scott Edwards from Hurricane. We're going to take a break and be right back with more of Inside West Virginia Politics. Welcome back. Next, we have the 57th mayor of the city of Wheeling. He took office in 2024. Born and raised with that Wheeling feeling, we welcome to Inside West Virginia Politics Mayor Denny Magruder. Mayor, well, hello there. Good to see you.
Well, thank you so much. It's good to be with you today, Rick.
Hey, just quickly, how was your summer?
My summer's been great. I've had a chance to get out a couple of times. I've been to an awful lot of sporting events for grandkids, so it's been a great summer for me.
Hey, fantastic. And everything's going well in Wheeling so far?
Things in general, things have been going very well in Wheeling and the surrounding area. Yes, sir.
Let's talk a bit about the continual recovery, if you will, and getting things back to normal, some form of normal, after the devastating flood, which happened. And I just counted the days. This is the 94th day since June 14th and the devastating floods in Wheeling and in Ohio County as a whole. Give us some sense of where we are in this process of recovery.
I think recovery is definitely progressing, but I would say that for the families who lost family members or who totally lost their houses, it's a long path. It's a very slow recovery for them, and so they continue to need not necessarily food products, but they need our prayers, they need our thoughts, our support, and they can use some building materials, things like wallboard, plasterboard. We still have a number of organizations who come in and volunteer their time, but we need materials to help them. But we want to say thanks, I think, certainly to the local folks who have reached out, a number of church organizations, citizens at large have been so very helpful, so supportive. I want to thank Governor Morrisey and his staff. They've been extremely supportive. They've kept their thumb on what's happening here as a result of the flooding. And to our congressional delegation, as you know, I know it took a little bit of time, but we've got the FEMA approvals, both for the individual assistance and for public assistance, which is necessary because we still have some areas, some houses that don't have bridges to get in and out of their homes yet. We still have highways and roads with some damage. So that's very important to us. But we are progressing. We are healing. It's just a very slow process, Rick.
Yes, it is indeed. Even within the last 10 days, I believe the White House has approved the state's request for what's called public assistance. It's funding, and it's for Ohio and Marion counties here in West Virginia after the deadly floods again of 94 days ago. What does this mean, this public assistance for? I think it's for communities, it's for cities like Wheeling, maybe to get reimbursed for some of the upfront expenses you incurred during the early days of the post-flood.
Well, it means a great deal because, you know, all of our budgets are strained to begin with today. I mean, you're very careful on what you spend. And there was an awful lot of overtime expended, not only here in the city, but by the county and in our neighboring communities of Triadelphia and Valley Grove. So they kind of wiped out all of their discretionary funds right here in June. And so now they get a chance to recover some of that from the federal government. But there's also a lot of work to be done yet. As I said, there's still bridges to be repaired. There are roads that need to be upgraded, repaired. There are bridges that cross some of these local creeks that allow people to get to their homes that have not been rebuilt yet. So this is extremely meaningful to us. And again, we're just so appreciative to the folks at the federal government and FEMA and to our congressional delegation.
And it really does wear on patience, doesn't it, of people, especially those who have suffered the most in this flood. But still, they have a real good spirit about them, but they're really wanting things to move along.
Well, Rick, it is. And you know, I think for some people now, They had people reaching out daily to see how they were doing. You had people out there, and now if you're not moved back into your home, or if your business has been destroyed and you're not back in it yet, you're getting very weary at this point. And so I just ask folks, let's continue to remember them, not necessarily just in monetary and other donations, but in your prayers and in your thoughts, and just continue to remember them and help them heal and help to give them hope. I think that's a big thing right now that we need to do, is to continue to be there, show up. That's important.
Mm-hmm. Very good. Mayor, we have basically run out of time. It's always good to talk with you and sort of see what's happening in Wheeling. We thank you for joining us on Inside West Virginia Politics. We'll talk to you maybe down the road somewhere.
Thank you so much. It's my great pleasure.
Thank you. That's Mayor Denny Magruder of Wheeling. We'll take a break and be right back on Inside West Virginia Politics. Welcome back to Inside West Virginia Politics. I'm Rick Johnson. There's a new publication out on key indicators of West Virginia's business climate from the West Virginia Chamber of Commerce. It is the campaign for Jobs Digest 2025. And here with more about all of this is Brian Dayton. He's the Vice President of Policy and Advocacy with the West Virginia Chamber of Commerce. Brian, welcome aboard, sir.
Absolutely, Rick. It's great to be here with you today.
So nice to have you. And I know that the digest, I've had a chance to have a peek at it online, and wow, what an in-depth look at the climate, the business climate in West Virginia, and where we are now and where we could be going in the future. Tell us a little bit about the digest from your perspective. What is the purpose of this digest?
Sure. Well, this is a book that we have been putting together for several years now, and this one looks at 61 key indicators of West Virginia's economy. We at the Chamber are firm believers that if you want to do better, if you want to know how to go ahead and grow your state, attract more development, more opportunity, then you have to know and be realistic about where you rank and how you stand versus other states. So this book explores a number of different topics, and it compares West Virginia with not just our neighboring states, but with every state in the country. So whether it's on taxation, education, manufacturing, 61 total indicators to go ahead and look at how are we doing versus the rest of the country.
Can you give us some indication of how the data is collected for this?
So we use a number of different sources, but we always want to make sure that we are using reputable sources. So Bureau of Labor Statistics, which is through the U.S. Department of Labor, keeps excellent statistics on job creation, for example. We use a lot of stuff from the Census Bureau. Education results are from a number of things, especially the National Association for Education Progress. You've probably heard that referred to as NAEP,
right.
But they do that result every 2 years, so we look at those. But our goal is to make sure that we're looking at sources that are reputable and fair and not biased.
And in your opinion, who benefits the most from getting this information?
Well, I think the general public at large benefit from this information, but also policymakers. We're constantly looking, how do we make ourselves better than our neighboring states? But you have to be understanding, where are they and where are they going? So we might, for example, you could pass a tax decrease in West Virginia. Well, that can be very helpful, or if other states are doing more of a same decrease, then you're not really gaining on them. So that's just one example of how that data really impacts decision making that occurs in West Virginia.
Let's dig in a little bit into some of the data, and by the way, we're going to do another segment on this with you, so we have a little more time. Tell us some of the key indications you've seen so far in the digest.
Sure. So let's talk about taxes for just a second, because that's one of the things right off the bat that people pay attention to. We've been on a series of personal income tax reductions in West Virginia. A few years ago, our legislature put us on a path to eventually eliminate the personal income tax, and it's triggered. But we represent employers as well, and employers are who provide jobs that are needed in this state. When you look at the share of the overall tax burden paid for by businesses versus individuals, West Virginia is actually the 12th highest for business taxes. Why does that matter? Well, companies that are looking to invest or looking to expand their operations, they're going to look at that and say, well, where are we going to have more of an impact? But when you look at the share of the burden, again, paid for by businesses versus individuals, West Virginia is the 12th highest on those taxes on businesses. So that matters. And what that tells us is that if we want to be competitive in attracting those jobs, attracting that investment, we're going to have to look at things such as the corporate net income tax, property taxes. We're going to have to look at unemployment compensation taxes. Those are all things that are really going to matter to companies making their decision where they expand.
And when you say policymakers, primarily we're speaking of legislators,
absolutely,
the governor, and everyone at the Capitol.
Yeah, we live in a republic, so everyone in West Virginia, you have delegates, you have senators that you elect, and so you need to be making sure that when you're making those decisions that you're electing people that are going to pay attention to statistics and make sure that they're making the most informed decision to better the lives of West Virginians. We're
going to do this again when we come back, but can you give us a location where one could dig in and see the digest? Is it online?
Absolutely. It is right on our website, wvchamber.com. So we have that readily available. It's easy to find on our website. And in addition, we have sent hard copy books. So you can see one right here. We've sent these to all of the members of the West Virginia Chamber of Commerce. We have sent them to everyone who is serving in the West Virginia legislature to make sure they also have a hard copy. But anyone can get on and take a look at this book. It does not cost anything. Just go right to wvchamber.com.
Well, I'll tell you what, we're going to take a break and come right back. We have Brian Dayton with us from the West Virginia Chamber of Commerce. We're back in a moment. Welcome back to Inside West Virginia Politics. I'm Rick Johnson, and with me is Brian Dayton. He's with the West Virginia Chamber of Commerce, and we're talking about the 2025 Digest campaign for jobs in West Virginia. Just to lead off with a question, like, I'm sure there's good things in the Digest. Are there some things that are not so good or room for improvement?
Absolutely. So let me go ahead and start with a couple of the good things. When it comes to manufacturing employment in West Virginia, we actually have the 5th highest wages for manufacturing workers in the entire country, and that's not a one-off. We've been seeing that number year after year stay pretty steady. Those are good paying jobs. So when we're attracting things such as Nucor, Form Energy, Procter & Gamble, so many of those types of developments, those are really, really matter because those are good paying jobs that really provide support and stability for families, but also attract in so much other investment to the area. Another one I think that might surprise a lot of people, your residential property taxes. We're the 3rd lowest in the country. So that's something right there. I think a lot of people, you hear it, I'm sure, I hear it too. People complain about their property taxes. We're the 3rd lowest in the country when it comes to residential. Here's the flip around though. Industrial property taxes. So again, those exact manufacturers we're looking to attract here, we have the 10th highest property taxes when it comes to industrial. So this book, there are some good things in there, but there are some troubling indicators as well.
So what does it take to turn something around? If there is room for improvement, generally speaking, what can we do as a state to begin the process of turning it around?
Well, I think the number one focus is you have to stay laser focused on economic matters and things that are really going to move the needle. You have to be looking, does this policy attract more investment and more opportunity and more people to West Virginia? Or is this not going to help that out or even potentially drive some of that away? Every decision that is made should be looked at through that lens. For example, we have the 50th workforce participation rate in the country. That's a problem. We're about 8 points behind the national average. That is a challenge to businesses looking to expand and invest in West Virginia. Well, there are things that we can start to do to change that around, making sure that we have really good pipelines between our businesses and our community colleges, our higher education systems. We also have to address child care. We have a serious lack of available and affordable child care in West Virginia, but those are some things that need to be addressed. It's not going to be an overnight fix, but you have to start. You have to start somewhere and start making those changes and then stick with it and make sure you're driving that.
So is it as simple as someone who is watching this program, if they really want to see change, they may have to send an email or pick up the phone and call their representative under the dome. That could be someone in the House of Delegates, it could be a state senator, it could be the governor, it could be all of them. I mean, make an effort to reach out.
So in part of my job, I interact with legislators all the time, especially when the legislature is in session. They like hearing from their constituents, and some people may be surprised to hear that, but they want to hear from their constituents so that they know that they're making the right decision. It can get a little bit lonely out there, I think, for a lot of these people if they're trying to make a decision and the phone's not ringing.
Yeah.
And then they run into them at the grocery store and they get yelled at. I think so. People may be a little bit shy about picking up the phone or sending that email. Don't be. Do that. But also make sure that they're focusing on what matters. What is going to bring more jobs, more opportunity, a better life in West Virginia.
The education in our state always seems to get a knock because, well, and quite frankly, many times we're not maybe performing as well as we could. What about that component in this digest?
Well, and that's one of the things is when you look at the NAEP scores, which measure 4th and 8th grade reading and math, so really 4 statistics, we are not performing well. I will say this, we passed the Third Grade Success Act a couple of years ago. We are seeing some positive signs coming from that legislation. You know, one of the things that it required was that there's now a teacher's aide in 1st, 2nd, and 3rd grade where it used to be just in kindergarten. I can tell you, I have 2 children in public school right now, and that is beneficial. So we are seeing positive signs come from that Third Grade Success Act. We're hoping that that starts moving the needle, especially in how we compare with other states. But public education is where the vast majority of students are going to be, and we need to be making sure that they're getting a good education so that they have the opportunity to get a good job and hopefully get a good job here in West Virginia.
Absolutely. Brian, thank you so much for being here.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Appreciate it. And that's going to do it for another edition of Inside West Virginia Politics. We'll see you again next weekend. Have a great week.